All right, Tom, I think we're good. Scott is kind of here. I think he's trying to get some audio worked out, but he says he's good. Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to get my computer off. I'm sorry, guys.
You want me to kick you out from the other one, Scott?
Let me try to leave, Jason.
Okay. All right, Tom, I think we're good.
Okay.
I'm here. I think he's trying to get some audio.
Yeah, Jason, if you can hear me, I'm back in.
Okay, yep, I think we're good. Let's go ahead, Tom.
Perfect. Yep, sorry.
All right. I'm going to call this meeting to order, Smithville Village Council. Roll call.
Alan.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Alan. Haas. Okay. Heicher.
Here.
Gotcha. Mullins.
Here.
Reed.
Here.
Thorne.
Here.
See y'all.
All right. You should have received a copy of the minutes in your email. If you have the opportunity to review those, I would ask and entertain a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented, unless there's corrections.
Motion to approve the minutes from November 3rd as written.
Second.
That's right, Larry. We have motion to approve the minutes as presented. Are there any questions or discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Alan.
Yes. Yes.
Haas.
Yes.
Heicher.
Yes.
Mullins.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Thorne.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. The only correspondence we have a note concerning the last leaf pickup date, which is next Monday. And it looks like this year we've hit pretty good as far as obviously the dates, because it does appear as though most leaves are down. Does anyone else have any correspondence to share? If not, then we'll move on into old business. The only item we have under old business is that Pam had provided to each of us, obviously a copy of the 5-year capital plan for each of the funds. And again, too, since you just received it, we did go ahead and hold off on approving it. But again, at this point, I would open it up if there are any specific questions in relationship to what she prepared for us. Now we could share those and try to answer any questions you might have. And if there aren't any questions, I guess if you're prepared to approve the 5-year capital plan, I would entertain a motion in a second.
Make a motion to approve the capital improvement plan, Matt.
In a second.
Second, Larry. Second, Larry.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the 5-year capital plan as presented. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Haas.
Yes.
Yes.
Heicher.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mullins. Okay. Reed.
Yes.
Okay. Thorne.
Yes.
Alan.
Yes.
Okay. The only thing I would add as a note, and as much for Pam as anyone else, I think I mentioned at the last meeting that we had that I did have a meeting scheduled with Tom Abraham from AgriSludge, the operator of our plants. Met with him last Wednesday, and again met at the sewer plant for the purpose of going through it, and him sharing with me and showing me some of the situations that we have there as far as long-term. One of the big issues that he has is in relation to some of the original electrical panels that are in the main portion of the oldest portion of the sewer plant. Again, it was obviously put in at the time the plant was built. There's a number of issues as it relates to obviously wiring being bare. Some of the components within the boxes are no longer available. And they've had a number of issues whenever they've had electrical problems. And actually the reality is that within the plant, even though you shut off a certain breaker that supposedly cuts the power, that's not necessarily always the case. They know for a fact that at times they're working on live lines. So again, given the age of the equipment that we have in there, I did ask him to get us some numbers together. He is going to work on that. So it will be something we're going to be looking at down the road. He did indicate, though, that he thought there was some funds available that would assist us. And he felt confident that he would be able to assist us in applying for those. So I think that I told him if we can find grant money available, and he indicated there should be some possibly through the county. If we can do that, then obviously I don't think it's an issue with us looking at it from the standpoint of doing it more in a quicker fashion. But again, too, that is something that I will be bringing information back, particularly for Pam, but also for BPA and the rest of you as well. So is there anything else under old business that anyone has to bring up this evening? If there isn't any, then we're going to move on to new business. The first item that you have on your agenda would be October 2020. It's the monthly financial report. Again, it shows each of the funds' estimated revenues, year-to-date revenues, appropriations, and year-to-date expenses showing the balances in each of those funds. Again, that was something that was given to each of you prior to the meeting. And again, I would entertain this as one of the reports that we approve each month. So I would entertain a motion and a second for approval of the monthly October financial report.
Motion to approve the financial report for October 2020.
Second, Reed.
Okay. So again, we have a motion and a second for the October financial report. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Eicher,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Thorne,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Haas,
yes,
Okay, thank you. The next item under new business, and you should have received this earlier from Tricia directly, was the 2021 salary ordinance. Again, each year, as you recall, we do a salary ordinance that sets the rate of pay for the employees in the village. There were two things that would have been sent out. The one is the actual ordinance that lists as far as vacation pay, sick leave, holidays, and it covers all that. Nothing was changed at all in that document. We made no changes from from last year. Again, it covers as far as overtime, court leave, clothing allowances. And again, too, it does include as far as some of the other things that are just standard information as far as clothing allowance for the police department, for the street department as well. And it has our mileage reimbursement policy or amounts in there. And again, too, like I say, nothing has been changed in that portion of it. Then there's the appendix, which is actually the portion that we actually have every paid position within the village listed and have the actual amounts that those individuals receive. And again, that's the document that obviously what we did, and I'll let obviously Trish, when I'm done, share. We basically looked at pretty much a 2% across the board. There were a few individuals that there was an adjustment made beyond that, but for the most part, we did do that. And again, too, when you're looking at this, we left I think the magistrate the same, because he is listed on here. And some of the other things we haven't utilized, we left the same as well. We didn't really change. We haven't used summer mowing help for a number of years now, basically because Mike and Adam have indicated that, they can do it without any additional help. So we didn't really change any numbers there because we haven't been utilizing that position. So we did leave it on there in case we'd ever need it. But again, at this point, I guess I'd let Trish share anything she'd like to, and then we'd open it to any questions that you folks may have.
Yeah, I think you covered everything, but were you guys able to open these attachments?
Yeah.
Okay. Must have been just you, Tom, that couldn't get into them. We had some trouble and I thought, well, I haven't heard from anybody, so I guess it worked.
Appendix A was open, but the other one I had to have permission, and she hadn't given me permission to look at it.
Yeah, I don't know why. Were there questions on this from anyone? We basically went through, I did the changes, like he said, we kept the things that we weren't using, we pretty much kept the same, but I sent it to Jason and Pam first for approval. Everything looked good to them, so I guess it's just a matter if you guys had a chance to look at it, and if there's anything you wanted to discuss. Otherwise, I think we'd be safe to say we could go ahead and motion to approve the salary ordinance.
Motion to approve the salary ordinance for 2021 as written, including the adjustments to the appendix.
Second?
Okay, we have motion and a second to approve, obviously, salary ordinance 2020-28. It will be number 28, including appendix A.
Okay, are
Oh,
we
I'm sorry, we need to
suspending?
suspend.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, it's
Thank you,
true.
Beverly. So if you
You're right,
folks
Bev.
backtrack, if you mind passing or making a motion to suspend.
Motion to suspend.
Second.
Okay, a motion and second to suspend. Any further discussion or questions on the suspension? Hearing none, roll call.
Mullins,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Thorne,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Haas,
yes,
Heicher,
Yes.
Okay, now we're ready for the motion to second.
Motion to approve the salary ordinance 2020-28 as written, including adjustments to the appendix.
Second.
And again, it's an ordinance 2020-28. It's an ordinance of fixing the compensation of elected officials of the village of Smithville, Ohio, and establishing the salaries and allowances of the appointed officials and employees and declaring an emergency. Any further questions at all? Hearing none, roll call.
Reed,
Yes.
Thorne,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Haas,
yes,
Heicher,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you. The only note, Trish, that we probably should look at is,
Yeah.
again, he is not an employee, thus he's not covered under salary ordinance, would be obviously the zoning administrator, John Parker.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we did
he's-
talk about that.
He's an independent contractor, so we probably need to look at that. He works under obviously an agreement, but we probably need to look at that and also approve that for the beginning of the year as well. And I would assume that's correct, right, Pam?
Yeah, I think we even talked about that at the financial meeting. I think I overlooked it.
So, and again,
Do you,
that's not part of this, but
yeah. Do you want that for next meeting or is that,
yeah, that would be fine.
okay, I'll get that.
Okay, if there's The next item then, and looking down, we have nothing else as far as listed for new business. Is there anything from council that they have that should be brought up under new business?
Mayor, this is Scott, and I may have missed the boat because this may very well be old business, but I did notice that the property on Summit that we've had some struggles with has progressed greatly in their lawn care. Is that as a result of the new ordinance, or is that just something that was a coincidence there?
I think it's probably coincidence.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And where we're standing with that is, I think I recall that I shared with you last meeting. Obviously, we had referred to the prosecutors, but given the length of time and the desire for us to start that process over, John Parker did go back out and initiate that. He did send that to myself and I believe possibly to Jason as well. And I believe then, I was remember someone else was copied on it, the police chief. He was just looking for any input. And then once we have given him any further input, his intent would be that you will file it with the police department. Police department then will refile the charges. So that's where we're at in regards to that. Anything else under new business? And if not, then I'll move on to equipment and we'll go to Scott.
Yeah, from equipment, Mike indicated that they do have salt and plowing equipment ready, although they hope to not to have to use it very soon. And that was all.
Okay. Next would be fire and Larry.
Yeah, the runs have picked up some for various reasons, and their hours are way up because there was a house fire out on Fox Lake Road at an abandoned house. It's a foundation now. That'd be it.
Okay, thank you. Moving on down, there's nothing else for police. Joe, do you have anything for Veterans Memorial?
Nothing new for Memorial.
Okay. Then moving on to parks and trees for Matt.
Yeah, the park restrooms have been winterized and closed, and brought the porta potty for John down near the restrooms for the winter. And also Mr. Turner made me aware of a tree near the village hall that has an issue with a crack that he's concerned about. He's going to get a quote for. I know I CC'd a few individuals this morning on that email with Mike and I. Not sure about the park fund for taking trees down. We took a few down this fall, but it seemed to me like one of those priority things that we would want to find some funds for to take care of. But we'll see what Mike comes up with a quote and go from there. So.
All right, sounds good. Then moving on to streets and sidewalks, John.
I have a couple things. The South Mill Street has been repaired by Dominion. Mike and I talked a while ago about Mike Turner, pardon me. The alley between, the antique store and the photography studio downtown. There's been some issues in the past where folks have parked and blocked the alley. So we ordered a sign that just states "Do not block alley," and that'll be in the next few weeks, and it'll be installed as soon as it comes in. The downtown flowers will be removed and replaced with holiday trees or decorations. And Mike and Adam will be putting up the downtown Christmas decorations this Thursday.
Yeah.
That should be all I have for now.
Okay, thank you, John. Appreciate it. And looking on, The only things that I guess I would report, and before I forget, I was gonna, I guess, ask a question also. You know, when we passed the new property maintenance as it relates to lot mowing, I think that we had talked about the items that John Parker had raised, the zoning administrator. There were some cleanup items. And I guess I'm throwing that up. As I recall, Jason, you said that would be something we do separate. And I guess I'm just following up to see if that's something that we're going to be able to possibly consider here sometime before the end of the year.
Yes, I will have a draft out probably next week, so that hopefully we could consider that at the first meeting in December.
I appreciate that. I just didn't want to forget.
Yep, it's on my
yeah.
radar.
Okay, thank you. The other things I guess I would report, obviously there is progress being made and work towards the water tower project. Obviously some site work is being done. Also, I know that there's been a lot of emails going back and forth, obviously from the individual that obviously is the inspector on our behalf from CT, approving various submittals that they're sending. There have been slight changes, nothing major, things that really reflect what we wanted, some in a cost savings nature. Again, too, he reminded the water main company that will be doing that portion of the contract that their deadline is December 31st, and that we're counting on them actually having it completed by then. But again, too, there is progress being made there relative to that. BPA has been reviewing some of the specifics as far as color selection and graphics on the tank. So again, progress is being made. On another topic, OPWC did send out local committee, basically their rankings for the projects that were submitted. And in this case, they did send originally a new cover letter indicating that this year there was a strict limit on the amount of OPWC grant funds that were available for the county to prioritize. And that they were not allowed to exceed. Given that there were not nearly as many projects, but unfortunately our project was not prioritized to the district. It doesn't mean that we may still receive funding, but I wouldn't count on that. Though they did ask us, you know, if we would submit it for small government also score, which we did, and we did have the highest score in the small government, but I'm not, you know, quite specifically aware, and this just came the end of last week. I'm going to reach out to the county planning department and clarify their thinking relative to the small government grant and whether or not that process might actually still have a shot at it. Again, it's something I haven't even shared with BPA yet, but I will be sharing with them as well, because again, that was lining the two sewers that we'd cleaned last year. But I will try to give you information as we receive more of that. And I think that's the only things that I can think of. The only other thing was, I would guess I would say, is that Lynn Muma on BPA had sent me some information relative to Wayne Economic Development Group, which again, she is a part of. The new development director had some information relative to some programs that would benefit small communities and villages like Smithville and their attempts to be able to benefit other communities. And she did give me contact information, and myself and that director are going to be sitting down in the near future and having a discussion, him sharing some of that information with me in relationship to possible incentive money that may be available or things that might benefit us as a village from that standpoint as well. But those are the only things I would have to share. I guess then if there's nothing else has to bring before us this evening.
Yeah, I do, Mayor.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I did skip you over, didn't I?
You did. That's okay. I talked to Greg Beaver at Beaver Meats, and again this year, he's going to be donating Thanksgiving turkeys for village employees and the fire department. Larry, were you able to get a lister today?
I did. I dropped it off, but you cannot get into Beaver Meats. It's kind of locked up, but I did get the list in there.
Okay.
I wasn't sure what people were going to do to go pick up their hams or turkey.
They have pickup times, and I did That's going to be specified to them. I need to get those to you. I'll email them to you so you can let them know.
Okay,
If you would. And then we usually each year purchase hams for the police department and our village employees. They bill that to the mayor, and that is something that we use personal funds for council members to donate back to the mayor if you want to help out with that. So I did give them a list. They are able to pick those up. And then, as I said, they'll be billing Tom. So if any of you want to help toward that, we need to reimburse him. And I don't know, Tom, do you just want him to drop something off at the village or your shop or your house or?
Village hall would be fine.
And that, obviously that's not something that we can pay for with public funds. So it does have to come from us personally. And that's being taken care of. I think Becky is going to get that information out to the people so they know pickup times. And again, Larry, I'll send that to you.
thank you.
I think that's it, right? Tom?
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
So sure, thank you. If there's nothing else then that anyone has to bring before us this evening, then I would entertain a motion to pay the bills.
Motion to pay the bills in the amount of $55,876.70.
Second.
John. Okay, John for a second. We have motion and a second to pay the bills. Any questions or discussion on the bills? Hearing none, roll call.
Thorne,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes,
Haas,
Yes,
Heicher,
Yes.
Mullins,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
All right. Before we adjourn, you might look at upcoming meeting dates. December 1st is our next council meeting. BPA meets on the 14th of December again for their last meeting of the year. Then council meeting is December 15th. But I guess I might say that oftentimes we may adjust or have a later meeting date simply to be able to accommodate as far as some of the things that we may need to do closer to the end of the month. And that's something that obviously between Pam and Becky will determine what that last meeting date in December needs to be, simply for the purpose of being able to approve things and having certain information given to us, obviously, before we can approve them to close out the year. So again, that's something that I just wanted to mention so you folks will be aware of that. As soon as we know what we anticipate, we'll make certain we touch base with each of you to make certain that you're available and we'll have a forum in which to conduct the business we have. So if there's nothing else, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
second, pause.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, well, thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. And as always, if you need anything in the interim, feel free to email or get a hold of me.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thanks, you too. Thanks, everybody.
Same
Night.
to you. Take care.
Hey, Tom, I have a quick question.
Sure.
It's not anything for